I was thinking before about how today, if it went the way that it was supposed to, freaking Tane would be married. You would have probably taken off your shoes and forced me to dance. And then, round about now, actually, I was hoping that you and I could talk about us, because I've been such an idiot. So please wake up, Ian. Please wake up so that I can tell you, all right? Oh, don't let it be too late.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
How are you coping in the snow, Sophie?
Hello. Yeah, I'm not a fan, I'll be honest. Neither's my dog. He's like, I'm not going out there.
Oh, really? Not running through it and going a bit crazy? No, not into it.
No, I've got a very precious little, Jack Russell. He does not like to get his feet wet or cold, or he's a bit of a girl. But there we go. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Good stuff. Not left the house because, same as you. Too cold, too snowy. It's March. I was ready for summer.
I know. Yeah.
Spring at least.
Last week I had daffodils in my garden and snowdrops and all sorts, and it was all coming out nice. And I thought, oh, here we go. Bit of spring. Oh, they've gone now. They'll be dead.
Madness, this climate change, isn't it? No, nobody knows. I was talking to someone at work. I'm going to say yesterday, it might have even been this morning. That's how long today's been. Saying, do you remember a couple of years back? It might have even been in one of the lockdowns, and we were like baking at this time of year.
It was boiling. That first lockdown, I was I was working in the garden because it was that hot.
Yeah.
And
it was like first week of March, like absolute cracking the flags. I thought, how times are changing.
It's mad.
Hope everyone is keeping warm, because obviously we've got this whole cost of living thing going on as well, and times like this, and we've all got to try and stay warm. So we'll keep you warm and fuzzy for the next hour. Also, up to date on Home and Away.
Of course, ready to go for next week as well.
I tell you what, just can't keep up at the minute. Can you?
I know.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
It has been fab, and we've not shut up all week, have we, to each other?
No. Yeah.
I will apologise in advance.
No, I'm just as bad. I'm like, oh, I'll text Si, and then I'm like, I should probably leave him alone. He probably thinks I'm stalking him.
No. All I'm doing is rewatching Home and Away, and so I'm waiting for you. Don't worry. So, chock-a-block episode. Do you want your headlines?
I do, yes.
If you're brave enough. Tane saves Felicity from the car just in time. But is it too late for Eden? And will Cash get his desired revenge? Bree's attempts to escape from Jacob's clutch are thwarted, leading to a shock murder. Mac gets a visitor from her past looking for redemption. And Xander pops the question.
Please take the time to like, subscribe and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts, and ensure you never miss an episode.
So we talked about it. We gushed over that cliffhanger last week of Tane into the flames, fade to black. So we were left for two torturous long days over the weekend, weren't we? And we rejoined the bay on Monday, and Tane he's getting Flick out, trap legs or not. He was dragging her out of that car, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Through the flames, and hero. We've talked for months about Tane and how nice he is, how much she takes him for granted, and all this flip-flopping over the relationship and then the wedding and then and he's way too good for her, isn't he? No, can you imagine? Can you imagine this all happening? And she agreed, she said it, she admits, she said to me, this was me. I had a moment. At the hospital later on, and I had a moment, and I was running late because I was freaking out, and he's still nice about it. Then, even though he's walked through fire and half the bay's dead,
And to be fair, he doesn't know for sure that she was on her way to marry him, or whether she was on her way to tell him it's off. Do you know what I mean? Because Eden's the one that knows what her decision was, and obviously she's not talking, so. Yeah. Tane's just trusting Flick that she was like, oh yeah, I was coming. Like, I was definitely on the way to get married. I wasn't on the way to tell you it's over.
I know. Well, that's true. That I'd not considered that. She's not actually said what she was going there to tell him. But I'm just thinking, what? We'd kill for someone like that to walk through flames for us, even though you'd left him hanging at the altar.
Yeah.
Just want to shake her sometimes, don't you?
I know, she's very lucky. I don't think she quite realises what she's got.
I know.
But yeah, maybe she will do. Maybe she'll wake up now.
This might be it. Yeah, this might be it. Well, if it's not, I don't know what would be. You know what I mean? If this wouldn't make you realise, there's no hope, is there?
No.
Eden, bless her. She got out of the car. She was, tail ender last week, but there's no developments on her. She's on life support, isn't she? And news is getting round. Remy and Kirby are informed by Rose, go to the hospital, and then when they get there, and nothing needed. There was no words. Didn't need any. Remy's face for me.
Oh, he's broken, isn't he?
He is, but I don't think he's enough room for it. In that moment, his face was like absolute horror for me, and it stuck with me actually, because he didn't need to say anything, did he? But he then sort of flicks back to sort of his Bree worries, and thinks. I mean, I suppose it's from the thinking of there's not a lot I can do here now. There is something I might be able to do about Bree, and we'll come on to that, in a mo. But it's Kirby really that's by her side to begin with, and he just sort of can't be there. And I thought that relationship with Eden and Remy's so tight, isn't it? That really, that was really powerful. I thought the way that was done. Yeah,
it was. It was like him saying, "Okay, I can't deal with this right now. This, I've got so much going on. I'm at breaking point as it is. I can't, my best friend now in a coma might never wake up."
Yeah.
I mean, how do you respond to that? I don't know.
Yeah. I just can't do this now. And he just, he's out of there, isn't he? And he's worrying about, like I say, other things. Amongst many, his hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, bless him.
Now, Eden lies in bed, and it's Cash who is, if you remember, had decided he was going to speak to her at the wedding. Get the wedding out of the way, and he was going to speak to Eden. He'd had that chat with Gary. It made him see sense, and obviously that conversation he never got to have. And he's by Eden's bedside most of the week, actually, isn't he? Chit-chatting away to her. Absolutely glorious scene. I felt at the top of it, and I've actually, it's at the top of this episode, for our introductory scene.
Oh yeah.
He's talking to her.
Yeah.
And he's saying, look, right now you'll be taking your shoes off, we'll be having a dance, and I'd be wanting to tell you something, and I just hope it's not too late. you know, and it's saying all these things. We've just had some lovely scenes, haven't we? With them.
Yeah. Cash has been really good this week, hasn't he? I think.
Blimey, who are you? And what have you done?
I know. I'm not usually singing his praises. He's usually for me. I'll be honest. I've said this for ages, probably since last year. He comes across a little bit unemotional, a little bit robotic, a bit serious. Sometimes, and I kind of go, oh, I know he's a cop, but you know, give him a bit of a personality, because I know in real life Nicholas Cartwright has got a personality. I've seen him on Instagram and he's made me laugh, and I think it's a shame that none of this is in that character. But this week he's been emotional, he's been raw, he's been angry. Bad Cash, Bad Cash is back. I'm loving all of that. So
I was thinking about you actually through this, thinking, because I had the same, it invoked the same reaction from me, like, oh, okay, I'm actually, because I think I text you saying, I think I'm actually getting into this Eden and Cash ship, if you like,
you're feeling
this,
it,
like it's making me invest in them. I want her to wake up now, and I want them to be happy, and I want it to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like it sort of propelled me a bit further on with the connection, if you like.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about you because I thought, why was I thinking about it? Lost the train of thought.
What was
when it comes to Cash and sort of not invested in him being, pretty average Joe.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. No, I've lost it. What did you just say?
Just that I think he's been really good this week. I think he's he's just not been that robotic, unemotional, serious, work Cash all week, and he has.
Oh, I've got it. It's come back to me. Yeah, thank you. You were talking about sort of, the whole when Cash is down and out and Eden only wanted him, that sort of situation.
Yes.
And we sort of got to chatting about that quite a lot on the previous podcast episodes. And then this is the same again now. Cash now is going through something, he's rock bottom. He's going through something bad. He might lose someone he might have missed his opportunity with. His sister's also in hospital in trouble. We later learned this week that it looks like that he was the target. The hit was for him. Yeah. So he's got all this mad, like you say, bad cash, mad cash. He's out down and out again, and now we're liking him.
Yeah, I know. I am Eden. I like Cash when he's like this, and I like him when he's a bit broken and a bit emotional and stuff. And maybe that's me projecting as to why she likes him, but
it's because it's more about him.
Yeah.
Unless he's at him.
Yeah, he's got more substance to him. He's not just copper Cash being a bit serious and older brotherish and that kind of thing. He's got his own personality that's outside of work, outside of Flick, which I quite like. Yeah. So
I think he's one of those characters we're gonna love.
Probably
when they play with him. Like when they really make the life hell. Like one of those characters that just never have anything good happen, and we're gonna love it. He's sort of becoming that sort of character for us, I reckon. He gets that phone call, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The from the investigation team.
Yeah.
Cause of the accident: the brakes were cut deliberately.
Oh, brand new information.
And then it's like, okay, how did they know about the ute? How did they know it was supposed to be Cash in there? And he and Gary.
I love this.
Did you though?
I love this. The whole scene when they're like looking around the house and they're talking. Yeah. Make a cup of tea and like looking for the wires in the house. I absolutely love this scene.
Did you?
I thought it was brilliant. Did you not?
Well, I was going, oh, come on. I was
really?
like, do not tell me the house is bugged.
Oh, well, I did tweet this week and I said, do you know what? Every week on Coastal News, we have a conversation, don't we, about people locking their bloody doors and the fact that they never do. And now look what's happened. Parata House has got bugs in every room, I think Gary said.
There are consequences, kids, if you leave that back door wide open.
Yeah, they don't lock the door. They don't lock, and they
Mhm.
don't. Sometimes Nico didn't even shut the front door when he went out. He just let it swing behind him. I was like, for God's sake, Nico.
The fly screen or something.
Yeah, just shut the
Oh.
bloody door. So this is what happens. This is a lesson for everybody. If you don't shut your door, the bikie gang will come in and bug you out. That
In
is
a
the moral of
really,
the story.
really
Yeah,
far-fetched way. I was eating my tea at the time, and I'm like, it. No.
really. I
Yeah, I was
loved
like,
it.
as I said, this as if this hasn't been like mad and over the top enough, right? Now we're adding on
Oh.
bugging the house. There's a bug under the lampshade. I was like, oh, give me strength.
Oh, I was
Uh,
lapping this up. I was loving it. I was loving the whole scene where they're just like pretending to have a chat about nothing, about food and about what the wedding would have been like, and put the kettle on, and oh, there's no milk or whatever. I was just loving the whole thing. I was like, yes, this is brilliant. I was loving it.
you see it then tonight when Irene comes round with like like
Oh,
food like they do. She's
oh,
like, have they found out who cut the brakes down? He's like, get out, Irene,
I
get
know.
out,
I know. I
stop,
was like,
stop talking.
where's that notepad they normally have on the side of the kitchen so we can scribble down, bug in the
Yeah.
house, bog off. I was like, come on. He
She's
had to be
probably
really
thinking it's
rude in
a
the end. I know.
spider or something.
Oh yeah, Huntsman, Huntsman in the house. What? I'd have been out of there. To be fair, as soon as I saw a bug in Australia, I'd be on a plane home. So no thanks. Yeah, oh, that was funny. It did make me laugh because I was like, he's trying to sort of get her out, but he's just being really rude. She's probably on the other side of the door going, "What the hell was that? Thanks, Cash. I brought you some food round." Yeah, Irene's pretty forgiving, so I'm sure when he tells her what happened, she'll be fine. But
Can I ask a question? Very just sort of segue into Irene for a minute, right?
Where's she
Where did
been?
yeah, yeah. I was about to ask, did I miss her announce she was going somewhere?
No, not unless I did as well, because I don't know where she's been. Alf mentioned her the other day, didn't he? You know when Marilyn was like, "Oh, I haven't ordered any bread. I've got no bread," and
Yeah,
Alf was just like, "Ah, it'll be fine." And I was like, "I don't think it'll be fine. It's a diner, and like it's all
yeah,
sandwiches and
yeah.
burgers. Like they need bread." And he was like, "Oh, do you want me to call Irene and get her to come home?" And I was like, "Where's she gone?"
Yeah, I know.
And then
All
obviously
week.
she did turn up tonight, didn't she? And went, "I'm back." And I was like, "But where were you?"
Yeah.
I missed that as
Like,
well. Not a clue.
I was thinking she's obviously. I thought you'd have. I thought if I'd missed it, you'd have picked it up. I thought
No, I
she's
missed
obviously
it.
said. She's obviously said I'm off to the city to see Finley or something, and I've just not. I just like completely missed it.
Yeah, maybe it's the
Um,
school holidays and she's gone off to do Nana stuff. I have no idea.
but
Not
it
a
was all
clue.
week, like because
Yeah,
Leah's obviously in hospital because she was impaled by a
yeah,
rod.
yeah.
Um,
Gosh, yeah, that still looked quite
giving.
painful.
And so obviously Marilyn's trying to, run the diner on her own, and she's flapping, constantly flapping, and there's loads of comments about poor service in the diner, and everyone's like, "Oh, if Irene was in," I'm thinking, where is she?
I
I
know.
was thinking, no, that wasn't really explained very
And
well.
we do have some randoms, don't we, walking around in an apron sometimes. I was like, where are the casual staff that don't get a name or a line? Where
Mm,
I
mm,
don't
mm,
understand.
yep, absolutely.
Why didn't Mr.
Um,
Stewart put his penny
and
on?
as soon as Irene, God, can you imagine
Yes.
a, a flat what, a mocha what? Oh,
You're
you can
getting
have
a,
a flaming black coffee, and that's
yeah, you're getting a black tea. Off you go.
But as soon as Irene's back, Marilyn's able to man the coffee cart. So
Oh yeah.
someone's still on their own in the diner.
It's madness. Honestly, it's madness.
It's been so long since we've seen the outside of the diner. I wonder how it's coming on.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I forgot about the reconstruction.
Yeah, so Irene's back and she's on the bug. So he's Cash has realised he was the hitman. Sorry, he was the hit.
What?
There was a
Spoiler
hit
it.
out on no. Oh, there was a hit out for Cash. And he thinks it's the bikie gang. They
Yeah.
found the bugs in the house. Obviously, we had that whole showdown a couple of months back. And I didn't know Marty. was shot by
Yeah.
Cash. There was that
Yeah.
shootout, wasn't there? Lost his life. It looks like they've come back for revenge. And he goes and asks Rose to break another rule. Good old Rose there gave Alpha parking fine, hands over the password.
Yep.
And he starts trawling through all the recordings, trying to link it up. And he hears a recording of that dodgy fella we had last week who's making the phone calls, watching the house. I just thought this was madly far-fetched. And then I thought to myself, well, how else would they be able to tie Tex and the bikie gang into it? You know, and I thought, unless someone was watching the house, and then they would have been seen because it was so... Yeah. So I suppose they had to have something, didn't they? But I just thought... How long has his house been bugged? I've got more questions than answers, Sophie.
I don't think they clean their house, do they? So they'd have, if they cleaned behind stuff or hoovered or whatever, they'd have found some of these bugs. But it's mainly who's in the house. Cash, Tani, and Nico. I can't really see them getting the Hoover out that often.
I know. I've just got this vision of bikie gangs listening to Felicity try on some wedding dresses.
That's a good point.
And listening to Felicity like saying she don't want to marry Tane constantly.
Oh yeah, the breakdown. Yeah.
We don't know how long it's been there, do we, this book?
No.
But maybe we'll find out a bit more. As I say, more questions than answers. And yeah, that's sort of where we're up to with that, aren't we? He's refusing to tell the task force. He wants to take it into his own hands. You know, this isn't business, this is personal. And he goes to visit Tex at the prison, doesn't he? And Tex is giving it, you know.
Tex is like, hey, what's new? Tell me.
Going on in your life, Cash. Yeah. Love it. Me and you have got a right good old soft spot for Tex, haven't we? Naughty boy Tex.
Yeah. We're not supposed to like him, but I do like him. I'm sorry. I'm very fickle, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a nice baddie, but he's nice looking.
Oh, yeah. I'm really glad he's back and we get to see more of him. And it's nice to be at the prison.
Yeah, change of scene again. It's good. Yeah, I like it when we go location.
I am really gripped. I want to know what happens next and where we go from here with this whole, because now we've got Cash v Tex v bikies, unfinished business. I want the spin-off like we did with the Braxtons.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I want the DVD. I want the movie length. Yeah, I want a lot. Yeah, bonus scene.
I want to know if Tex is in there with Colby. I want to know because we've got quite a few residents of the Bay, ex-residents of the Bay, that are in that prison. I assume it's the same one.
Do you think Colby's still in?
ISO.
I still, yeah.
Don't know.
Been a couple of years, hasn't it?
Can we not have a prisoner cell block H, but in the Bay?
Yeah. Didn't they? I'm just thinking now. They did reboot that, didn't they?
They did. Yeah.
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 And that had most of the Home and Away cast today.
Yeah. Prisoner cell block Bay or something. I don't know.
You heard it here first. Get that trademarked quick. Crossover. We spoke about Kirby briefly, didn't we? Not Kirby, Remy briefly before. You know, and his sort of cross into that story. And let's talk more about it because he was worrying. You know, he didn't have time to worry about Eden too much. He was absolutely beside himself about this Bree thing, didn't he? Because last he saw of Bree was at Travel Dodge. Yes. And basically she took off. She was saying that she didn't love him. And she took off with Jacob into the night, basically to just keep the peace and go with it and stop him from doing something to Remy, really, more so than wreck his hand with a hammer. And then he's beside himself, isn't he? He can't think straight. Kirby's trying to console him. She's saying all the wrong things, but she's really meaning well. And he's charging around town and he can't think straight. And I can't do anything until I know Bree's okay. He knows, doesn't he, that Bree was saying those things to go with it, to try and save both of their bacon. Yeah. Which I was glad at because I thought, well, last thing we need is Remy thinking Bree doesn't love her and all the rest of it. Then let's quickly talk about the band's money situation because you were saying, how are they paying rent? private investigator.
I know.
How was he going to pay for that?
Credit card, I think. I don't know. Another one. I have no idea. Can't be cheap.
I mean,
but good. It's a good job he wasn't really interested, wasn't it? Because yeah, otherwise I don't know how he would have afforded him.
yeah, as PIs go, he was like, I'll save you money. No picture.
Yeah.
No.
You've got no
Yeah.
proof that you even know this woman. How do I know that you're not just paying me to stalk her because you've been caught? You know, it's very, for Remy, very unfortunate that he's got this PI that has morals that won't just take the money and go, yeah, sure, mate.
Do nothing.
Take some pictures and send them to you, whatever. So, quite unfortunate in a way, but yeah, he has saved his money at least.
Well, if he'll have a credit card company that would give him credit, you know, when he's a busker, self-employed busker. I mean, I want to know who this credit card company is because I could do with a bit.
Yeah, we need it for our trip to Summer Bay.
Yeah. Sort us out, Remy. Yeah. Do an IOU. The PI thing was just daft. I thought, how is he even going to pay? He's not thinking, is he? He's just willing to do anything. Turns out I was right. Brie and Jacob out in the bush eating beans.
You literally said toasting marshmallows on a campfire, and I was thinking, nah, come on. And then they literally were like round the campfire. I was like, okay.
And I promise you, I didn't know anything. Where else could they have gone? Where there's no cameras and.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And then he's off to the river to get agua, water. And she's right. I was honestly screaming at the telly at this, right? She's trying to pick a moment, isn't she, to get out. He goes, she convinces him to go to the river on his own to fill up with water. While he's gone, in the glove box of the car, she finds pen and paper and starts writing Remy a note. Well, I'm thinking, what's she going to do? Pigeon that to him?
Yeah. Like how's he going to get it? I did tweet something about this because I said the same thing. I was like, what on earth are you doing, Brie? Like, look for an escape, run off. Don't sit there writing a note that he's going to find 5 minutes later.
Just do one. Yeah, she could have got well away and hidden, couldn't she?
Yeah. Anything like, but it obviously needed to escalate it. But someone tweeted back, I can't remember who it was now, and they said, I think she's probably sussed out that she's a goner, like he wants to kill her. Yeah, it's a fine line, and maybe she's trying to leave something behind that Remy will find later, or the cops will find, or whoever, so that it's like a message from beyond the grave type thing. So that, you know, I always loved you. I was just lying, so that if something does happen to her, then he's got that message. I kind of get that, but I do think if she hadn't written that note, it's one of those sliding doors moments, isn't it? If she hadn't written the note, would it have escalated anyway? No,
she could have just gone with him, couldn't she? And then at some point they would have needed to have sought money or you know, supplies, and
she was trying to convince him to go to town, wasn't she? She was like, oh, we need to go and get supplies, we need to go into town, and he was like, they would have had to eventually, and then she could have run away or got someone's attention, or I don't know,
intercepted a member of the public and been like, I need your help, like, you know. There's
that's
so
what
many...
the note could have been. The note could have been, I'm being held hostage, help me, or you know, something that she could have slipped into her pocket. But dear Remy, I really love you. No, that's just going to enrage him when he finds it.
Didn't mean what I said.
Yeah.
I'm glad you took the same as I did, because I was thinking, you silly woman. And there's she's like this a few times. You've said it as well. You know, she's a really intelligent woman, but doesn't say some absolutely stupid things sometimes. And she infuriates me in that way. And I suppose that's probably a good thing that, you know, it's invoking that in me. But I know what I'm thinking. Writing, I didn't really mean that, to my, you know, lover.
Yeah.
When I think I'm going to die, it's going to be the last thing on my mind. Unless she'd just given up. At that point, she'd succumb to the fact that he was probably going to beat her to a pulp anyway, and she's just succumbed to it, you know, that she's never going back, unless that was it. If it was that, I think it could have been sort of come across stronger, you know, and a bit more obvious.
Yeah, it wasn't
Um,
spelled out really why she chose that moment to write that letter, and what
yeah,
she was gonna do with that letter once she'd written it. You know,
yeah,
if she'd got that far, it wasn't really clear, was it, what her
no,
plan was? I don't think she had a plan.
no, that's true. Well, of course, he finds it right away, straight to the
Oh,
pocket.
yeah.
And obviously red mist, you
Mm,
know, he's found a note in her back pocket that she still loves Remy, and she's his wife, and he knocks her out, doesn't he? Knocks her
yeah.
out cold, and we're gonna have to try and talk about this sensitively because it's quite a serious topic,
Mm,
isn't it?
yeah.
Um, but she's out cold. That was that the end of an episode then as well, or a break or
Yeah,
something.
it was the end of the episode because do you remember the first look for the next episode showed us him digging a grave or what looked
That's
like a
it.
grave? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then she comes to, and he's digging, digging.
Mm.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you
It's
imagine
just
that
fear. You
and
just
seeing
know what it
that?
was. Why would he be digging a massive hole? You know, you'd know, wouldn't you? You'd know at that point, I'm going in that hole if I don't get
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah. And I think she says later on, just skipping forward to when she's interviewed by Rose later on, she says, "I
Mm.
knew because I had to sort of pretend I was unconscious." And I mean, how you've even got the bravery to do that when that's what you're
Mm.
faced with,
Yeah.
I think the panic would just take over me,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be able to do that. But she managed to, when he kept glancing over, he's
Mm.
thinking she's unconscious and she's not.
Yeah.
And she said, didn't she, to Rose, I knew at that moment it was him or me,
Yeah.
and I suppose it's fight or flight, isn't it, at that stage?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to, now or never, you've just got to, the adrenaline just has to take over. You've just got to make a decision at that point. Her
Mm.
decision, she takes a moment when he's distracted, picks up a shovel, whacks him one, and she kills him instantly, doesn't she?
Yeah, but she doesn't realise at the time, does she, that she's killed him? She just thinks she's knocked him out, and then she's going for the keys, isn't she, for the car, so that she can run away. She's got the keys in her hand, and then she looks at him and goes, "Jacob, Jacob."
Yeah.
And I was like, just leave him, get in the bloody car, shove him in the hole, like just get out of there, girl. I'd have been gone. I wouldn't even checked for a pulse, anything.
You'd have been banged up with Tex.
I'd be at least I'd be alive.
You'd be happy.
I'd be quite happy banged up with Tex, to be fair.
Um,
I don't think I would have hung around. But she, at the end of the day, she's a doctor, isn't she? So although she hates him, I don't think she wanted him to die. And also, it's within her nature to see someone that's injured, needing help, and actually help them. And because I think a lot of the tweets on the hashtag this week were like, "What is she doing? Why does she care? Why is she crying? Why, he's dead. Good." But at the end of the day, they've been together for years, and on some level, she loves him, but also hates him. She doesn't really want him to die. She just wants him to just leave her alone, stop hurting her, and let her get on with her life.
yeah.
Isn't she?
Domestic violence isn't as black and white as that.
It's
Bad
not.
man, hate man.
No.
She loves him,
Yeah.
and they've ended up in this situation out of love.
Yeah.
She's killed him out of love,
Yeah.
really.
And it's that kind of love where I don't know how to
It's good for
describe it.
nobody.
Yeah, but she kind of feels indebted to him, so she kind of feels like she
Yeah.
has to love him because they've been through so much together. He helped her get through uni, didn't he? He sent her on paid for her to go to become a doctor, paid for all of her university classes and everything, her tuition fee, and I think he paid for her rent and stuff as well. So we know she feels indebted to him, like she feels like she has to love him because he's done so much for her. And
Yeah.
it feels like an obligation, like a burden, doesn't it, for her to love him?
Yeah. And don't forget, outside of all that physical abuse, is the emotional, you're no good without me. It's me and you and the world, and it's all that sort of emotional stuff, that language that comes with it, that that sort of snowballs into all those feelings you're describing.
Yeah, definitely. And he's not horrible all the time. You've got to remember this. So he's horrible to her and like does unspeakable things to her. But then they have nice moments together. You know, we've seen them messing around on the beach. We've seen them hanging around. We've heard him talk about gifts he's bought her and things they've done together.
Children.
Yeah, he's not
Planning a
horrible
family.
24/7 because abusers aren't, are they? If it was that
Mm.
easy, you know,
Mm.
you wouldn't stick around, would you? But he's not. He turns it on and off. So one minute he thinks that she's the best thing in the world, and the next minute he's calling her all sorts and hitting her and doing all this horrible stuff. So it is what you're saying. He's broken down her mentally, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's broken her spirit essentially by treating
Yeah.
her like this, and she's stuck between love and hate, literally. Like she doesn't want him to die, but she knows that it's him or her. It's horrible, actually, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So she's frantically trying to resuscitate him then, isn't she? She's not leaving him behind. She's
Yeah.
phoned the ambulance and the police and Xander. YMCA all turn up. You know, Xander's like, you know, she's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he's bleeding from the ear, isn't he? Because when we got a look at him, because at first we didn't really get much of a look, and she was doing chest compressions, wasn't she? And then we looked at him, and he was bleeding from the ear. And Xander checked his eyes, and obviously, I think there was just no sign of anything. So he knew at that point this guy's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy that this is how this has gone and this is how this has ended up? This story. Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in a way, it's kind of sad that he didn't get justice. You know, like he didn't get put in front of a court and told what he'd done was wrong and you know, face the consequences. He's kind of got off scot-free, hasn't he? Because he's just been killed. There's no satisfaction for Bree, is there really, from that point of view? Because she's just a murderer now, and she's going to have to carry that for the rest of her life. And being a doctor and a murderer, you know, that's quite two extremes, isn't it, for her? So as a viewer, I'm glad the storyline's over. I'm glad he's not hurting her anymore. But was it the best thing to kill him off? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, similar thing. I don't think I'm too happy with this resolution. I'm probably less happy than you are with it. In that, for similar things you've just said, Bree has now killed somebody. And that's something that she has to live with. What are the repercussions? She's been in and done a statement. What happens now with Bree? Will she have to go? You know, will she have to go to court now and claim self-defense and
I think she
be
must
dragged through all that?
Yeah, because we don't know what's. Obviously, she must have said at the scene of the accident what had happened. I've hit him and have killed him. He's dead. Then we've seen her not even immediately, but what looks like maybe a day or two later, she's gone in for like a voluntary interview. She's not been like escorted into the police station, has she? She's gone in voluntarily and given this statement to Rose. Doesn't appear to be under any caution or, you know, not charged with anything in particular. So, you know, this man has died. There does need to be an investigation into that.
Yeah,
so I don't really know where we're going with this, to be honest.
And I'm a bit worried about that fact because we've made her a murderer. I just think there could have been a different ending to it. Like you say, I think we said last week, didn't we? You know, the baddies have to have the comeuppance in some way or another.
Yeah.
And I think he needed to, for Bree's closure's sake on the whole thing, and for Bree to try and heal, he needed to get help. He needed to be incarcerated. He needed to apologize. He needed to basically go through all that process for Bree to heal after it all.
He never took responsibility, did he? He never said, I shouldn't have hit you. It was wrong to hit you. I won't do it again. We didn't hear him say any of that kind of thing. He justified it by saying, well, you made me mad and you slept with someone else and you've done this and you've done that. That doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. So I feel a bit cheated here. And as you say, Bree now has to live her whole life now with the mental scars, the physical scars of their marriage. He doesn't, you know,
No.
and also that with now that she killed him, she killed somebody, and you know, and she's gonna have that for a long time, you know, that battle with that. And so who's won? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what people will remember. They'll remember, oh, that's Bree that killed her husband. They won't remember, oh, that's Bree whose husband was beating her up. And, you know, that wasn't widely known by the whole Bay. You know, if she chooses to stay where she lives right now, that isn't widely known. But the fact that she's killed him, that will get out soon, won't it? No, I don't know how I feel. I'm glad the storyline's over. I'm glad that she's not going to get, you know, beaten up again. That was awful.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it could have been different.
I just don't think she should have killed him. I really don't. Suppose we'll have to tune in to find out where we go with that. But yeah, it'll be a little bit unrealistic if that's it now and Bree gets on with her life.
Yeah.
Her rejection of Remy, you know, when Remy rushes, you know, because Remy has that. Do you remember that Remy dream that really threw us all off?
She's
deceased. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it sort of was relived exactly the same, but saying she's alive. I love that. I love those little funny things. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you saw his face. He was like, am I awake? Am I dreaming? Is this real? What's she going to say? Is this a premonition?
And we didn't know. We didn't know whether this was just a recurring dream or is this the truth now? Like, I loved that. I loved the way that they kept us guessing.
That's clever. With that.
Yeah, I honestly was lapping that up. But actually he has learned the second time round that she's alive. He rushes drops everything, rushes to the hospital, and she's rejecting him, isn't she?
Yeah.
She explains it as a bit of like she feels bad for sleeping with Jacob while they were camped out.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that was a justifiable reason. I took it like I'm rejecting him because I'm now a murderer because of our affair. You know, like that was my first feelings about it.
I don't think she was going to come skipping home and jump in his arms, wasn't she? After this, this is why. If it had ended differently, if they'd found them both alive and they took Jacob in, you know, into custody and he'd been charged and all of that sort of stuff, we might have had that reuniting with Remy, being relieved that they're together again. We might have had the slightly happier ending. But I think given that she's been through all of this now, and she would have had to keep him sweet for a few days and thinking the whole time, how am I going to get away? Am I going to get out of this alive? Is he going to kill me? Then seeing him dig in the grave, or what would have been her grave, and then having to kill him and go through all of that. And I think she just needs some time to process what's happened to her.
Yeah.
Doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's not ready to come back and play, you know,
lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
Spot on. Yeah, spot on. Well, as one door closes, another opens, and we've got a character that's arrived called Marley.
Yes.
And not Marley and me.
No.
Marley.
It's Aboriginal, I think. It's Mali.
Quite an interesting addition. Is he sticking about? At the minute where we've seen him up to it, he's a contact of Dean. Dean knows him. He's a board shaper.
He is. I didn't know that was a job.
Is there no machine that does that?
I don't. It must be. Was it luxury boards that get hand? I don't. You know, like you get handcrafted things, don't they? And then that's meant to be better than a machine doing it.
Super expensive. Yeah. So he's a board shaper and he supplies the board shop, and he's in town to help Mac put a shelf up. I'm like, okay. How does he know Mac? Like, okay. But what do you make of Marley? First impressions, seems quite fun, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he seems nice. I mean, we've not seen a huge amount of him, have we? Yet.
No.
But I liked his interaction with JP in the surf club. enjoyed that. Meeting Palmer, and so far I'm feeling good about him. He seems like a nice guy. What about you?
Let's see. Where we're at the moment, I mean, he's sort of come. It's a bit of a weak sort of link to be there for my, you know. It was not really explained how or why he's got chatting to Mac, and Mac, he's then come over to help her put a shelf up in the nursery that she's been doing for Dean and Ziggy.
Well, it was the surfboard, wasn't it? He made that little surfboard thing for the wall.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Like, but also offered to come and.
Yeah, but he'd made that little tiny surfboard, which was like wall art, wasn't it? Basically, that it got Little Gromit written on it. So he'd obviously made a tiny board, and it was going to be like a focal point of the nursery. So he'd Little Gromit, he'd come round to put that up, wasn't? And then he finished off the room with her, and they'd been shopping and bought some bits and pieces, hadn't they? So.
And then Dean was all like, "Oh, you two get on," you know.
Yeah.
Like, is that a bit of a you know,
wink.
forward? Yeah, and I can't work out whether he's supposed to be a bit of a ladies' man because he's also eyeing up Moody Stacey. Yeah,
who Dean is not a fan of, which was making me laugh.
God.
He was really short with her, and I was loving every minute of that. Like, shouldn't you be at work? Shouldn't you be opening the gym? Tane's got a lot on his plate. And then, do you remember later on when he went up to see Mac in Salt, and Stacey was coming out, and she goes, "Oh, don't worry, I've already opened the gym and I've already done a class," and he just gave her a look that went, "Just bog off, me." I was laughing. Like, I love Dean.
I don't think he'd have cottoned on though, unless Ziggy was like, "She has not done nothing all day. She's supposed to be looking after them."
Oh, I think he's got.
Jim.
I think he's got the cut of her. I think he knows that she's a bit of a yeah.
Oh, he's pennies dropped for Dino.
Yeah.
We were right about her. She's a right one, isn't she? She's not good for nobody, and I worry now if she cottons on, if Marley sticks about a bit and she cottons on that Marley likes her, another good-looking young man. She's only 2 weeks out of monogamy, and she's with Xander, who's really intense, asking her to move in with him.
God, Xander needs to chill. That boy has got no chill.
I know, but I worry that she's gonna, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think she'll think it's that big of a deal because they've only been together, you know, dating a couple of weeks. And
I think he thinks that. I think that's why he's moving so quickly and saying, "Oh, move in with me, and we can spend all our time together."
Oh yeah,
he
think it's insecurities?
He doesn't trust her as far as he can spit. You know, it's obvious.
Oh dear.
Yeah, doomed. He doesn't trust her. She's not really that keen. It's doomed. Fizzle watch.
Well, yeah, they're officially on the watch, but I feel like we're going to have a cheating scenario, and it's just all going to be poor Xander. And he then sort of realizes he's made a run a mile, and then goes, "Oh, I had a bad day at work. You know, someone died." Basically, Jacob, and it made me want you to move in. This is Xander's pattern, you know, where he gets dead involved. He's lost a patient. I'm thinking, is this the pattern coming back? But rather than a tattoo, he's like getting a wife.
Oh God,
do you know what I mean?
Well, you wouldn't get a tattoo for Jacob, would you? Let's face it. Like, nobody's crying that Jacob is deceased. Nobody's going to get a Deliveroo tattoo for Jacob. But I think Xander's just really insecure. I'm not surprised. I'm not blaming him. You know, Stacey's giving him mixed signals. He doesn't trust her. He checked her phone last week. I think and he's trying to monopolize all of her time. You know, he's there. He's hanging around all the time around the surf club. When he's not at work, he's in the surf club, and he's like, "Oh, let's go for lunch. Let's go for dinner. Let's do this. What are you doing tomorrow?"
Yeah,
it's suffocating her.
Yeah,
really. So I won't
be
surprised.
Push her further away.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if she runs off. But this is because it's like it's self whatever. What's the word where you're worried about an outcome, and then by your actions you actually make it happen. I can't remember what the word is, but he's making it. He's worried that she's going to run off with someone else or cheat on him or do something. So to try and stop her from doing that, he's trying to be around her all the time, keep an eye on her. And when he's doing that, she's feeling suffocated, and the chances are that she's going to try and rebel against that, and then she is going to go off and do something with someone else, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of them.
It's car crash waiting to happen.
It
It's
is,
just
yeah.
if you pardon the pun.
Another one.
It's not a pun, is it? Yeah, but in like really slow motion, like cringe.
Yeah.
And he deserves better. A nice girl who's just as nuts as he is. Now, let's talk about another new face that rocked up in the bay, sitting there perched at the end of the bar in Salt.
Oh, yeah.
Matt comes in, ducks and dives as quick as you can say, Pinot Grigio, large, please. And we quickly learn it's somebody called Gabe. Mac knows him, and she summons Brother Dean to get rid of him. Won't give him any explanation. You owe me, I did your nursery.
I love
That's what
this.
favours are for.
This was brilliant.
Oi, drink up, get out.
Do I look like I've come here for a chat? I loved it. I love Angry Dean.
We're back at birthing class again, weren't we?
I know. The river boy came out. I loved it.
And this Gabe, it turns out, was Mac's fiance from Days Gone.
Can I ask you a question now? Have we ever heard about Mac's previous, before she came to the Bay? Obviously, she'd had relationships before she came to the Bay, but I don't remember ever hearing about her almost getting married, having a fiance.
No, not an utterance.
No.
Not an utterance of it. So we're all just as shocked as you.
Yeah.
And so that makes it slightly unbelievable for me. I'm just thinking, we're retconning Mac a bit, to me, it just takes me out of it a bit,
There's been opportunities for this to come up before, because obviously we know that she was dating Ari at one point, and they got very serious. I'm not saying they would have got married, but they did get very serious, and then they broke up, and that was horrendous for Mac. And then obviously not long after, he was with Mia and they were getting married. So it didn't come up then that, she's struggling with this because she's been here before, and it didn't come up when Flick was planning the wedding.
Nope.
So this never
hen party. None of it reminded her, and this was only very recently. Money troubles.
Oh yes.
Dad. Right. Let's rewind right back to the beginning. Daddy issues. Dad never mentioned it.
No, that's true. We've had Dad in the Bay, haven't we?
Yeah. Similar things. He was trying to give Dean money. Remember when he was trying to make Dean go away? He was trying to give Dean money. Similar situation. So it turns out when Gabe finally gets her to speak to him, he admits that they called the wedding off because Rick, Dad of the Year, Rick of Mac and Dean's dad,
sorry,
had given Gabe $50,000 to leave his daughter alone, and he just went, "Oh yeah, okay," took it. So he's come back declaring all this love, and you're thinking, well, what's took you so long, kid? Do you know what I mean? Like, why now? Yeah.
Where were you during the poker nights when Tani got stabbed over less than money than that?
Yeah. And then, you're just thinking, where on earth were you when she was about to lose everything?
Yeah.
Obviously, she didn't know about this until now. She's I think it's so ancient history. She's so over it that she doesn't even bat an eyelid at it, does she? He then writes a check out to her for the same, with a note saying, "Look, if you think it's all about the money, have the money." Because at first I thought, oh, he's spent his 50 grand, he's back again. If his feelings for her are as strong as he keeps saying they are, then why would any money make you break a heart? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. And how do we know now? So if she forgave him, let's say hypothetically she forgives him, gives him a second chance. They get back together. How do we know the dad doesn't find out and offers him another 50 grand to bugger off, and he takes that?
It's all a joke, isn't it? I don't
Yeah.
get this. Just don't get this. And is he? He must be back for another reason. There must be reasons why now, of all times.
Why does he feel guilty now?
Yeah. So what's happened? And hopefully over the coming episodes we find out something's gone on in his personal life. Is there another wife since and she's left him, or do you know what I mean? Something's happened that's made him decide to look her up now, of all times. But yeah, I'm struggling to get on board with it. I mean, it's early days. I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Would you
these
bank
things
that
always
check?
start this way. Absolutely.
Would you?
It looks like I made it.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'd take it. I asked on the hashtag earlier. I was like, "Would you take the money? Would you bank it?" And 2 people so far came back and said, "Yeah, they'd take it." But I was like, "I'm not sure I would. I think I'm really stubborn."
I would, because I would be thinking it. Oh, Rick. It'd be like getting back at Rick.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I think if I did take it, I'd have to spend it on something ridiculous. You know what I mean? I'd have to blow it on something crazy that was just like, your money that you worked for, I've just blown it on something frivolous and stupid.
Because I'd just be thinking, everything Rick's put me through. I'll have you 50. The check might bounce anyway. Seen it.
Yeah, exactly. Do we know it's legit? That's the other thing, isn't it?
Looks like it was done on Paint
I know.
3D.
I could do that on my home printer.
sorry, Gilligan, you did it. But yeah, it didn't look too legit, that check. I knew who writes checks these days.
My parents.
Why didn't you just Venmo it to her or something? Whatever that, whatever they do nowadays.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a check for 50 grand, so I wouldn't know how they get 50 grand into my account.
Did you, when you bought your house, did your mortgage go into your current account first?
No.
Oh, mine did, and it was like a Friday, and it was there all weekend. You should have seen my balance. I was going ballistic. I was like, yeah, it didn't leave till the Monday.
No, mine went into like a solicitor account, and then it went out from there. So.
Oh, right. It went. The solicitors took it from my account. The bank put it in my account, and then the solicitor took it.
Yeah. Cut out the middleman.
Yeah, but it was there all weekend, and I kept, oh God, what I could do with this.
You're just thinking about heading off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks for the money.
I thought, oh no, they're gonna want it back. So yeah.
Yeah, they do, with more on top. Right, Si, it's now time for your say on the Bay.
Favourite.
Is it your favourite segment now?
Yeah, I love it.
Love this. So what we do at the end of each main pod episode, we look at your tweets and your reactions on social media and see what you think about all the shenanigans that have been going on in the Bay. So just before we do that, just a reminder that we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram at Coastal News Pod. Or if you're not on social media, we also have an email account, which is coastalnewspod@gmail.com. So feel free to get in touch with us and give us your thoughts. And a huge thank you, actually, to everyone who does get involved, because we love hearing from you. And the last couple of weeks, has to be said, has been brilliant, hasn't it, on the hashtag? Everyone's been getting involved. Everyone's been talking about that crash. And in fact...
That crash.
And obviously the aftermath of that crash. In fact, one of our followers, Julie, hi Julie.
Hello.
Hello, Julie. Julie Smith 2001 contacted us on Thursday night to tell us that Home and Away was actually trending on Twitter, which is amazing. I can't remember the last time it trended. So the last couple of weeks have been
Doesn't
mad.
happen often too, because we're not one of the massive soaps, are we?
No.
So, oh gosh, that shows you how mad it's been.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you everybody for getting in touch with us and all your comments and everything. We work full-time jobs, and then it's been almost a full-time job keeping up with the comments this week as well. But it's been great. Really loved it.
Well, can we tell the listeners you have taken the reins on that, because I got lost, and most of the sort of tweet alongs is yourself. So thank you. You do an amazing job, and everyone loves chatting with you.
Yeah.
I do some of it, but you do the bulk, don't you? And then this week, I just lost control of the
mad.
notifications.
I was
had a
texting you, wasn't
meltdown.
I? And I was like, oh my God, this is like a full-time job now. Like the amount of tweets we're getting and people on the hashtag and having that chat and back and forward and stuff. But it's been really good. It's been really nice. Because sometimes you feel like some days are quieter than other days. And on those days when nobody's on the hashtag, it kind of feels like it's just me tweeting into the void sometimes. But to have everybody tweeting and seeing people talking to each other as well, so not just talking to us, but we might have a conversation with one person who then another person chips in and then they carry on a conversation, and I'm just seeing it, that I'm just leaving them to it, because it's just nice to see people talking about the show. What's better
than talking about people who like the show that you like? It's great, isn't it? It's great.
It's been really good. So thank you everybody that's been getting involved on the hashtag. It's been really good. So following on from last week, because on last week's Your Say on the Bay, obviously we kind of reacted to a lot of the tweets that were going out after the episode that went out on 5 Star last week, which was the crash episode, which ended with that cliffhanger of Tane running into the fire. So we went straight onto Twitter, didn't we, and looked at people's tweets, and there were so many compliments that were coming out for that episode, and the compliments have spilled over into this week as well. Lots of people again this week praising the show, saying how good it is. So I'm going to read out some tweets from people. So Dame Lady Jazz, I think this is a brilliant name, Dame Lady Jazz, which is such a cool name. They tweeted, Home and Away is so bloody good at the moment.
Isn't it just?
It is. I can't agree more. And Chelsea Girly 19 tweeted pretty much almost the same thing and said Home and Away is so good at the moment. Mr. David _885. Hi David. Tweeted us saying, I honestly think this is the best the show has been in ages. And Mark _65_ again, he tweeted about the crash episode and said that was the best Home and Away episode in quite a while. So there's been loads of people, that's only a handful of tweets as well about the show in general. There's been loads of that on the hashtag this week. Everyone's saying how good it is at the moment, how much they're enjoying it, how good that crash was, which is brilliant. It's really good to hear, because I'm sure the people that work on the show are enjoying that feedback as well, because it must be really hard to work on a show and not really see that reaction or hear that reaction, or maybe sometimes when it's a bit negative, it's probably a bit disheartening to see that. But to have so many people just say this is brilliant must be really a nice feeling for them as well.
Yes, and I wonder, I'm trying to think sort of what makes this different, because obviously we all get very excited about violence, and like stunts, and because we're on soaps, they're not the everyday, are they? The everyday soaps, it's all more character driven, plot heavy. You don't tend to have a lot of scope for these big stunts. What I think we're all enjoying, and get in touch, people, if you think this is a different take, if it's different. I think because it was such a well executed stunt to start with, that helps. The fact that it didn't look naff, we weren't laughing at it, things like that. Like it really looked fab on screen, And then not only that, there's all this character stuff going on around it, as a result, it was the big wedding, the wedding that we've been leading up to for best part of 12 months. We've now got this unrequited love. Or unacquainted is probably the wrong word, isn't it? This unspoken, there's a conversation that was never had, and will it ever happen?
It's a will they, won't they, isn't it? Will they, won't they ever get together properly? Yeah,
and then the B story, there's normally a B story, isn't it, that you're flicking to, but even the B story is gripping. It's this domestic violence that was been playing out on screen for weeks. That's come to a head at the same time. So I think there's all this character driven stuff around it as well. It's not just a stunt, that could be mildly laughable, you know, and
Yeah.
then we're all just getting on with the mundane episodes again. Everything is going off on every scene. And I think that's why this feels way more exciting and way more enjoyable than usual.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think it helps that it's with characters that people obviously love as well. We know that everyone loves
Yeah.
Tani and Felicity.
Yeah.
They're really popular. They won our award last year for best couple. So yeah, I think it helps when
Yeah.
it's people that you care about in this situation, and then it feels like, oh my god, I need to watch that because I need to make sure they're okay. And
Yeah.
you know, you're horrified watching it, but you're also, it's so entertaining, isn't it, when the stuff like this happens? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm so glad that people are enjoying it, because I've really enjoyed it as well. It's been great. And what you were saying there about sort of the individual characters, obviously we know everyone loves Tani and Flick, and everyone's feeling sorry for Eden as well. But actually, I was looking at some of the other characters that people were praising on the hashtag, and there's 3 names that keep coming up that people are praising that we might not necessarily always talk about, because we tend to go for like the obvious people in that are part of this storyline. First of all, Jacob. I think we have to look at Jacob, who's played by Alex Williams. We know we're not supposed to like Jacob. You know, he's a baddie, let's face it.
Villain. Yeah.
He's a villain. Yeah, we're not meant to like him. But I think the fact that we don't like him is testament to Alex's portrayal. And lots of people have been praising him on Twitter, saying he's genuinely scary. He's downright terrifying. And I think he's probably the best proper villain that we've had for a while, because I was thinking about it the day. And obviously, in the recent history, we've had Tex, we've had Matthew, Chloe's dad, and we've had Anne, the stalker that, you know, kidnapped Tani and Felicity in the last 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
Those are our most recent baddies, aren't they, on the soap? But Jacob has been the first proper villain that we've had. I think, like, he's a classic soap baddie, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I think Alex has done a really good job of Jacob, and everybody's saying this on the hashtag as well, that he's genuinely quite scary, and played the part really well. So I think we need to mention his contribution.
Really
to the
good
show.
idea. Yeah, really good idea. And I'll join in with that. I think he's played an absolute blinder. We've all been on the edge of our seats.
We have.
From the second he's turned up. In fact, we were on the edge of our seats for about 4 weeks, waiting for him to turn up.
Yeah, we were. When's he coming back? Hiding behind the cushion.
He's in the privies. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, we were terrified.
I think, and then he's, like you say, the way he's played Jacob and executed that has just been so intense and believable.
Yeah.
Really, really, and that's why we've all gone with it. We've all got into it, haven't we? The way we have. Yeah.
And as you said earlier, it's such a serious topic, such a serious storyline, and it could have been done really badly and, you know, laughable, and it wasn't. It was done with respect to the storyline. It was done, you know, tastefully, I guess, is the only way I can describe it. And he did a really, really good job of that. Yeah,
he did. I don't think he should have been murdered, though. I'm standing by that. I'd like
to hear more about what other people think about that on the hashtag, actually, because everyone was kind of, yay, it's over. But what I'd like to hear from is whether people agree with that ending. Should he have been killed off, or should he have, you know, faced some justice and gone to prison or whatever? Are we happy that Bree's a murderer now? I don't know. Be interesting to hear. If anybody's got any views, do let us know.
Yeah.
The second person, and I think this is pretty obvious, but he's a guest character at the moment. But Gary. Oh my God, Gary. Loads of love for Gary on the hashtag. So this is Peter Phelps that's playing Gary. So I'll read you
the legend, Peter Phelps.
The legend. I know, Baywatch legend. I'll read you some tweets, and they're all, these people completely sum up my feelings on Gary, so I don't even need to tell you. So Little Miss Heike tweeted, I think we all love Gary. I hope he comes back on the show.
Yes.
Yep, agree. Julie Smith 2001, Gary is just great at everything. That was during the episode where Gary was looking for bugs in the house with Cash.
Your fave scene.
My fave scene of the week. My highlight of the week. And then Angela79 tweeted, I want Gary to be my foster dad. He's so cute. I agree. Love Gary. And I love the love for Gary as well. I'm loving that everyone's loving Gary. Because I wasn't sure if I was like on my own. I'm a bit weird, but yeah, it
No,
looks like
Gary's just captured everyone's hearts, I
he
think.
has.
I think, and it's got this sort of investigator past, hasn't he? Cop past, but he's not hard with it. You know,
Yeah.
like some cop characters, or like you know, if they're, I'm liking it to like, I know he still is a cop, but you know, Thingy on EastEnders, Denise's husband,
Jack Branning.
yeah,
Yeah.
how sort of disconnected and sort of stone faced he is about stuff, and like, you can never imagine Gary being like that. Gary's
No.
like, you know, such a good bloke.
Yeah.
And he took these kids in. They weren't his kids.
Yeah.
You know. So I did think, do you remember my theory about Gary perhaps having had a bit of a with flicking
Oh, you tried to tell me
Cash's
that
mum.
Flick was his daughter or something at one point. I was like, no.
I think we could have gone down that route. Maybe we still can.
Oh, I don't want that to happen. I think that would ruin their relationship.
Maybe.
Oh, I like it how it is. I like him as the foster dad that, you know, fixes things, and bring Gary back.
It would be it would bring back Gaza. It would be different. It would change the dynamic, and obviously Flick would. There's this whole thing with like, if that was to be the case, Felicity's gone through life without a father and a mother, you know, and she had one all along. And,
it would also change their view of their mum and dad and their mum and dad's relationship, and I don't want that either, because from what we can make out, you know, they were really, really loved up, really close.
Yeah.
Their dad fell apart when their mum died, you know, and like it would just ruin all of that, wouldn't it? Really?
Oh, I do. Wreck it up. Rip it up.
Oh, you're horrible.
I think that was a missed opportunity, but there we go. We could have kept Gaza around a bit longer as well.
Oh, I hope
maybe we'll see him
listening.
Again.
Don't listen to him.
Go on, yeah.
No, don't listen to him. Oh dear. Maybe we'll have to watch this space, but we do want Gary back. It's so
funny if that happens now.
If he has to come back, if they have to make it that storyline to bring him back, I'll deal with it.
Too right, you will.
Deal with that.
And I'll never hear the end of it.
I'll blame you entirely. Like, well, so Gary's back. And the third person, we already mentioned him in the main episode, actually, but Cash has been receiving some love on the socials. So, as I did say earlier, I admit to being a bit of a critical person when it comes to Cash, because he can be a bit serious and a bit unemotional, etc. Everything I said earlier. He's a cop, we get it. But Nicholas Cartwright, I know he's got a decent personality. I know he's funny. It's a shame that we don't get to see more of that on the show. But I am liking the fact that we are seeing more of Cash. You know, he has got that personality, which is not just an older brother, not just a cop. We're seeing more of that, this sort of raw, broken, emotional Cash. And we've had some tweets about him as well. So Jamie TV News said this is the best Cash has been. So over the last few episodes, this, you know, in Jamie's opinion, this is the best Cash has been. And I'd probably agree. You know, we are seeing more to him. It's fleshing him out a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, we said it, didn't we, before discussing the story? It's giving him more. I think we like him when he's miserable, when he's broken, when he's similar to Eden.
But I like him when he's funny, you know, drunk Cash, and when he's having a laugh and letting his hair down a bit. I like him like that as well. I get a bit bored of him just being just Cash at work all the time.
Going to the diner for a coffee. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. But do you know what? I think this whole story has sort of made us look at him more. Made us pay more attention. He's normally turning up and arresting someone in a different story, or he's investigating something, or he's sort of getting involved in something because he's the town cop, and he's just always there, dependable, reliable, boring. You know, now we're seeing him and his life a bit more. You you know, we've learned, I mean, Eden's part of his past. So bit by bit, we're piecing him together, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of his childhood, really, we've learned through the lens of Felicity. You
And
know,
Gary
she's been,
now. Yeah.
and Gary, yeah, and it's been a bit of the Felicity show in that respect, you know. We knew when they both came on the show, you know, they were orphans, and he basically looked after her, and that was it. That was his story, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's taken a long time for us to get there. I think we're there finally. But yeah, this whole Eden being on life support, and he was about to tell her that he was going to give it a go after having spoken to his lovely, lovable stepdad. I think he's just heartbreaking, and I think we're all rooting for it now, and I think that's making us invested.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And while we're on the subject of cash, I can't ignore this tweet that we got from Farney. The lovely Emma tweeted us this week. She said, what is cash short for? She said, is his Sunday name Cashmere? Is it cashier? Is it cashew? And I'll be honest, I've been creasing over the idea of him being called Cashmere for about a week. I just love that.
Thanks
like,
for that, Emma.
You know when you tell him off, Cashmere Newman, come here now. It's just
Senior Constable Cashmere Newman to you.
It's absolutely killed me. So yeah, another thing that I want people to get involved with. What is cash short for? You know, give us your answers, because we'd love to know.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.